where we're taking a super casual problem-solving approach to your money. Look, you absolutely do not need a PhD in finance to get this right. Think of the numbers we're going to talk about today as your personal financial compass. They're going to guide your wealth-building journey, show you exactly where you stand right now, and help you navigate forward. And the best part? It relies on beautifully simple logic.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1, we're unpacking your burn rate. 2, we'll calculate your magic number. 3, we're looking at Arvin versus Manny. And 4, we'll talk about accelerating your wealth journey. Let's get to it. Part 1, unpacking your burn rate or your financial footprint. Okay, so your burn rate is simply the total amount of money that goes out the door on a monthly basis. It's the sum of literally everything. We're talking about your biggest, heaviest expenses, like your mortgage or rent payments, all the way down to those daily coffee runs. And let's be honest, those late night impulse buys. Understanding this financial footprint is absolutely essential. Why? Because it directly influences both how much you can realistically save right now and exactly how much you're ultimately going to need in retirement. It's the foundation of the whole shebang. Now, to find this number without pulling your hair out, it really helps to break your burn rate down into 3 easily trackable buckets. First up, you have your fixed costs. These are your predictable, recurring expenses, think rent, taxes, and insurance premiums that stay pretty much the same every month. Next, you have your variable expenses. These are things like groceries and gas, which kind of fluctuate based on your lifestyle choices month to month. And lastly, you've got your one-offs. These are relatively small expenses that just pop up, like say an oil change or a routine dentist visit. While they aren't massive emergencies, they absolutely need to be accounted for in your budget. By just looking at your spending over the past couple of months across these 3 categories, you can easily find your reliable average monthly burn rate. And knowing this total monthly amount, it's absolutely vital for hitting your very first financial milestone. Seriously, before we even touch the topic of investing, your burn rate determines the size of your emergency fund. A really solid rule of thumb here is to have around 3 to 6 months of your burn rate saved up. It's your financial safety net. Moving on to part 2, calculating your magic number and the 4% rule. The math here comes down to one incredibly simple concept, 25x. This is that highly effective back-of-the-napkin doodle math rooted in a widely accepted principle called the 4% rule. So the 4% rule essentially suggests you can safely withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio each year in retirement, with a really high probability that your money will last for at least 30 years. And because 4% is just 1/25th as a fraction, it means that to generate your required income, you're going to need an investment portfolio that is roughly 25 times your annual expenses. Simple, right? So we can break down this massive, daunting goal of a retirement target into just 2 actionable steps. Step 1, take that monthly burn rate we just figured out and calculate your annual burn rate. Just multiply it by 12. Step 2, multiply that annual number by 25. Now look, I'll be honest, this isn't a flawless calculation. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a really great baseline because it doesn't perfectly factor in future inflation, but it provides an incredibly helpful approximation. It gives you a crystal clear endpoint to aim for, basically as if you were retiring today. Part 3, Arvin versus Manny, a tale of 2 stickmen. Let's bring these abstract concepts to life by looking at our 2 hypothetical stickman investors, Arvin and Manny. Now, both of these guys earn the exact same income, $100,000 a year, but this is where their paths totally diverge. Arvin, after taxes and all his fixed and variable expenses, spends about $7,500 a month. That gives him an annual burn rate of $90,000, which means he's saving 10% of his income. Manny, on the other hand, well, he makes some slightly leaner lifestyle choices. Maybe he lives in a slightly cheaper apartment or drives a more modest car. So Manny's annual burn rate is only $75,000. And because he spends less, he is naturally saving 25% of his income. This reveals the absolute incredible power of that 25x rule. Think about it. Arvin's $90,000 burn rate multiplied by 25 means his target for financial independence is $2.25 million. But Manny, his $75,000 burn rate means his target is only $1.9 million.
Because Manny lives a slightly leaner lifestyle, his finish line is literally hundreds of thousands of dollars closer than Arvin's. It's crazy how small lifestyle decisions have such dramatic differences on the final goal. Now, if we assume both guys invest their savings and get, say, an 8% annual return, how long does it actually take them to hit their targets? Well, Arvin is going to be working for almost 37 years to reach his $2.25 million. But Manny, he reaches his goal in just 22 years. No way, right? Manny's lower burn rate and higher savings rate literally cut 15 years off of his required working life. 15 years, just by optimizing those couple of basic numbers. It's a real game changer. Part 4, accelerating your wealth journey and your savings rate. So the core lesson from our little stickman case study is that your burn rate and your savings rate are basically just two sides of the exact same coin. Every single dollar you cut from your spending automatically becomes a dollar added to your savings rate. When you reduce your burn rate, you get this amazing double benefit. You increase the amount you're saving today, while simultaneously decreasing the massive pile of money you'll eventually need to fund your retirement tomorrow. It's compounding working in your favor. So how do we manipulate these numbers to make the real magic happen? Well, there are two primary wealth levers you can pull. The first lever is to simply spend less. Cut back on unnecessary expenses, aggressively eliminate debt to bring down your monthly burn, or even downsize. But eventually, there's only so much you can cut out of a budget before you're just miserable, right? There's a floor. And that brings us to the second lever, earn more. This becomes vital once your spending is optimized, because while spending definitely has a floor, your income can theoretically be scaled infinitely. You could start side hustles, do some freelancing, or aggressively advance your career. When you put all this together, it's like you're building a financial rocket ship. Your burn rate determines your free cash flow, your magic number gives you a crystal clear target to aim for based on those expenses, and your savings rate, that determines the speed of your rocket, dictating exactly how quickly you're going to get to that target. Optimizing these three numbers together creates an absolutely incredible accelerator for your journey to financial freedom. And hey, remember, the goal here isn't to be a miser. It's about being really intentional with your spending so that every single dollar aligns with your long-term goals. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. So I have a question for you. Which lever are you going to pull today to start building your own financial rocket ship? Are you going to optimize your expenses to lower that burn rate, or are you going to find a way to increase your income? Take a look at your bank statements this week. Calculate your three numbers and take just one intentional step towards your goals today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.
Freedom isn't given, it's built, and it starts with what you do next.